Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna unbox something here that I've wanted to get one of these for 15 years at least, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure when they first came out, but I sold a guitar, bought a cheaper guitar, and purchased this because I've wanted one of these for a while. So here it is. Yeah, I mean it's no secret that I'm a Star Trek fan. Although I don't really watch Star Trek. I burned out on it so much years ago. I haven't really watched it. But I've always liked the original Enterprise, the ships. And if you go back on my channel, you'll see I had a Star Trek themed garage, which was pretty awesome. Um, I'm going to build it like the production model. I can't afford the light kit, but I've figured a couple of ways to get around that. So let's open this thing up. Yeah, I never, even when I had a Star Trek collection, I never understood the action figures. To me, it was dolls. Even as a kid, I just had no interest in anything like that. I want to play with dolls. Ships, car models, stuff like that. Yeah. I think this has to go right here. It's in the way. Well, this is quite the robust box. Wow. It's a lot better than most of the boxes. It's really thick. Oh, smell something. Here's all the windows. Wow. This. The size of the bridge. Huge. More windows. Wow. This is huge. Where the lights go for the nacelles. I found some lights online that are in a lot of different sizes, and they'll flash, and they'll just, some of them will pulse with different colors. Because there's no way, I don't have the money to buy that polar lights. Look at the bridge. That polar lights light kit, it's just ridiculously priced. I only had so much money from the sale of the guitar. Look at the size of that. Wow. It's all scratched up. It is all scratched up. What's up with that? Wow. It was just laying right on here. That's how they ship it? Because I didn't want to paint it. Oh, I'm going to have to complain about that. That's ridiculous. Can you see that? Let me see if I can get the light here. Can you? Let me see if I can just get the light right. Yeah, it's hard to... It's all scratched there. Scratch there. Scratch there. That's... This should have been in plastic or something. That is big. You know, the deflector dish from the 11-foot filming Enterprise, that got lost somewhere. I bet you somebody'd pay a pretty penny for that. The book. Plastic bags can be dangerous. Oh, this must be all the decals. Well, I just can't believe it came scratched. Huh. And it shows you the 3 different ways to make it. Am I in the wrong? First pilot, second pilot, and production. You just go by the color, blue. I don't know what color that really is. Kind of an orangey red or gold, I guess. Shows you what paints you need. Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in that. Let's see if I can show it to you a little better. Look at that. And there's some scratches there. If it would focus, you'd be able to see them. Some scratches there. Man, that's really scratched up. This thing is kind of heavy. Well, there you have it. That is one big model. So the first thing I did was devise a way to light this without paying for a Polar Lights light kit, which I can't really afford. It's like 225 bucks. It's the cheapest, and it goes up from there. So they have a lot of pretty cheap LEDs. So this goes into the front of the nacelle where the lights go. So I found a drill that fits in there perfectly. Now I'll use this micrometer just to size what LEDs I would want to buy. So right about there. And so now I'll take my, this might be a little tough to do here. Try to get this measurement. The light is all over the place here. Let's see, how many millimeters are we talking here? It's definitely under 4. 1, 2. It's definitely under 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's about 3.5 millimeters. So on the 1/350th scale, there's going to be 2 lights there, and they're going to be for the impulse engines. Let's see if I can do this. They go right there, one on each side, one there and one there. So I thought that would be cool. They kind of like look like a fire. I think they're made to emulate like a fireplace or something. But that'll work perfect in there. I saw another 3/50th scale Enterprise like that, and it worked. It looked really good. Okay, here's a couple of blues. We'll hook them up. I've got the ends wrapped together because they're going to flash, but will they flash at the same time? They start out the same, but then they alternate. Well, that's really good because you don't want them all flashing together. That's going to work perfectly. Okay, I bought some lights for my 1/350th scale Enterprise. I couldn't afford the Polar Lights light kit. It's ridiculous. The cheapest I ever found was $225, more up towards 300 bucks. So, I mean, I sold a guitar to afford this model. I'm not made out of money. And anyway, I bought them from Evans, and it was about $52. And here's what I got. This is out of my model kit. This is where the lights go on the nacelles. Then you have the 2 different covers over them. Well, I bought lights that flash. So I have 2 yellow, 3 green, because you use a green and a red for the bow and the stern. And then I got a couple of flashing oranges and 3 flashing reds because I need one on the red on the bottom. And then I've got 3 white lights because, I mean, I might want one for the bridge. I'm not sure if I'm going to have it lighted. And the saucer array. And I think that my shuttle bay will have a light in it too. Now, when I got the model, here's the saucer section. It is scratched up. The top's scratched up pretty bad. This is the bottom. But anyway, they're going to send me a new saucer section. So I thought, well, maybe I can build the saucer because they give you two different bridges. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Like, here's one of the bridges. You can build this model like the pilot, the second pilot. So I'm not using that. So why can't I use that on my extra saucer? So I might build the saucer just because I have it. I might as well build it. And I got some shrink wrap, got some wire. So I've already tested some of this stuff. I'll show you some of it. And it's looking pretty good. So I'm looking forward to having some lights. What I'm going to use for the windows is in this bag. This is from a company called Art and Glow. And I've got like a, what is it? Like a neutral sky blue, neutral white glow paint. So I saw somebody with a model put this on the windows. And of course, when the lights are on, you don't really notice it that much. But when the lights go off, it looks like they're all lit. So that's going to make it a lot easier to do that. And then I figure this sky blue, I'll use that on the sides there. On some of the, I don't know if the original Enterprise, I don't think it had that, but I've seen models where, this is missing some parts on this, where there's that little side deal here, and it's blue. That would really look cool. So that's what I'm hoping to do. So that's the Poor Boys lighting kit. That's what we got here. And those LEDs fit in here perfectly. So it should be pretty simple. Okay, this will probably be one of the first things I do on this model, which I've done nothing on it, is I'm going to put the lights in here. And as you can see here, there's those little 143. That's what goes in these larger holes. But I've already got these lights that are going to pop out of there perfect, different colors. But if you look, there's these little guys too. They're right here. I was thinking maybe I can paint them with my glow paint, a white and a blue. Like a white, a blue, a white and a blue. So there's even more stuff inside there. And of course, the cover and the spinning thing, it won't be spinning. I do want to paint the lions black. And like take super fine steel wool on the inside, and just so you can't see through it, so it looks opaque. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my lights out and get them in here and get those wired together. Okay, on the back you can see there's these little mounting marks, so they're sitting opposite each other right now, as you can probably see. So I put a little mark on the top, so I have my red and my red, they're all opposite, blue, blue, yellow, yellow. So they should be kind of relative to each other, each nacelle. Probably doesn't matter, but thought I would do that. So I fed a couple through there. They go through the front and they fit perfect. So I'm just going to keep loading this up. Okay, just to show you where I'm going with this. All right, this is what it's going to do. I didn't need to buy anything special. These lights each have a little mechanism that makes them flash. So there's ways to get around these expensive lighting kits. Hopefully this is going to look really cool when I get it all together. And I was worried that they would flash together, like in synchronicity, like the Police album. but they don't. So that's good. See, they kind of flash all independent of each other, slightly different speeds. So that makes it even better. And what I was thinking was the little, I don't know if I mentioned this, there's little pieces that go between there. Let me put this light on. Kind of dark in here. There's pieces that go in here. And I was thinking of painting those with my white and blue glow paint. Hit that thing with the flashlight before you turn the lights off and put this all on. It should look pretty cool. So the next thing I'm going to do is the wires aren't cut to the same lengths, and I want them all to be the same length so they're as neat as possible. So I'll probably put a little shrink wrap on here to keep them together, and I'll cut the ends to match, and I'll solder them, and we'll put some lead on so they can go through the so the wires can go through the nacelles and then onto the pylons, onto the center section, and they'll probably the wires will come out the bottom. So I think that's the standard way people do it. There's really no other way to do it. So I'm gonna get these all ready to solder up. Okay, I've got a nacelle here, and here's the mount for it. So this is going to be sitting here, and that's a lot of thick wire to be fishing through here. So I think what I'm going to do is, I already wrapped this stuff up, but I think what I'm going to do is join them all together here, so I just have a couple strands of this wire that have to pass through, because then they got to be joined together. So I might just cut it here. No, I could always loop the wire around. I don't really even need to cut it if I don't want to. But it makes sense when the wire comes down the pylon that it's the smallest amount of wire, and that would be 2. So put these all into 2 wires. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Makes sense. It is logical. Okay, I'm going to use my soldering gun to get the coating off. I've tested it and it seems to work. Instead of using sandpaper, well, I might just clean them up with a little sandpaper. But here we go. Okay, now I'm going to do these Bizard covers. They go over this lighting system deal here, and then there's a clear ones that go over that. Excuse me. So the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to sand it with 2000. I'm going to sand it with 2000. Then I'm going to paint it with this silver. The lines. There's like a recess in there. There's like a little trench. Once I'm done painting the silver, if it goes over any, I can just touch it up with the 200. So let's get at it. Now, I've got them painted, and I'll just go over them with some 1000, and that'll clean up the edges a bit. I already did this one. You can see how clean it looks. This one needs a little cleaning. Here we go. All right, we're just getting these nacelles together, and we've got these rings on here. So we'll get those on the end of our nacelles. Okay, because I'm using glow paint on the windows, I have to spray white on them first. And what the white does, it helps this paint show its glowing abilities better, I guess. So I didn't want to, I've taped up all the numbers. I figured I don't want the numbers painted. I want to be able to easily tell where all these windows go. I got some more right there. So I'm going to go give these a hit of white primer outside. So I looked up this website for detailed information about paint colors because they don't tell you in here. They'll show you the colors that have to be used, and you can kind of see the blue, red, and green up there. But there's a bunch of other, there's a couple of grays there you can see. But they don't tell you, so you got to go on this web page. It was so complicated. There was so much crap going on. Then when I did find a model of the Enterprise, when I saw the paint job on it, it was so terrible. It was so terrible. Like mine, admittedly, I'm not painting mine. I don't know if I have the patience to go through all that. So there's some, marks on it. This looks 5 times better than the terrible paint job the guy put on it. So to me, it's a total fail. You're gonna make a model like this, put the colors. Don't make somebody search on some over complicated web page just so they can figure out the color. It's ridiculous. Check these nacelle mounts. They're both bent. They're both bent. I mean, come on. This is kind of a nerve-wracking part with the wire. So what I did was, when the wire came through the center, I put a little bit of grease on it on both sides so it could slide. And I noticed once I had it together, I could see the seam. Well, you can see the seam a little bit there. See the seam right there? And what I did was I used this fine tape on both sides of it, and I put some glue in there, and then I pulled the tape off, and no glue. I don't think any real glue came out, and I didn't want to see that gap. So once that dries, I'll do this side. Just got to be careful and take your time. but I'm excited that the lights still work. It's a little nerve-wracking pulling these wires through. I saw that I had wood, so I painted the steps and the wood and Kirk's chair, the arms of his chair. I painted those with the wood too. And I got old Baylock on the view screen. Oh, there's your bridge. Here's the shuttle, Galileo 7, which is a great episode too. All right, I couldn't figure out how to put a light in the bridge, so I put a little white paint on there. See how much I masked just to shoot that little piece. And I'm going to put some glow paint in there for all it's worth underneath this little ridge. And maybe I hit it with the light. It'll light up the inside of the bridge a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Here's the shuttle bay. Gonna have that light in it. Now for all the windows, I painted the glow paint right on the front of the window, but now I've learned I could do it from the back. It looks cleaner on the other side. So I wish I had thought of that earlier, but hey, you learn. You learn as you go. Now I painted this white, and I'm going to paint some glow paint in there. So then the bridge, when I hit it with the UV light, it'll light up in the bridge, because I don't know how to put a light in here. But I didn't want it to bleed through. So just around, just this part, the circle that's around my finger, I'm going to do that with the glow paint. Okay, I'll cover that up with some paint so it doesn't bleed through the ship, and we've got our little light in there. The impulse effect. Kind of flickering lights there. Got this little window. Of course, there's nothing to see on the inside of the ship, so I'm probably going to paint that one little light coat of flat white on the inside and light it up with an LED. And I want to keep the light from going anywhere else. I just want it to be in here, so I'll probably use this as kind of like a diffuser, and I'll cut it round and glue it in and glue the light into it. So the light won't be able to come through that, because you'll be able to see the light through the plastic, and we don't want that. Okay, I have this little cap from my diabetic strips. Put a hole in it. Got an LED in there. And I'm going to take some of that. It's kind of like tin foil. Got it cut out. I'll stick it in here. And here's the flat white. I didn't take the tape off the edges, but we'll just do a test. Oh boy. See if we can get the light to work. There, that's what I'm going for. Just kind of a nice opaque light at the bottom. All right, we'll put her in. can't park there.